In the previous video, we created some components. In this video, let's take a look at how we can use components to display dynamic data. Our restaurant is cool and everything, but do you really want to display my name? Of course not. No way. You probably want to display your own name. So let's go ahead and do that. To start, we're going to pass an object called props into our header function. Then, before our return statement, we're going to console log props to see what we get. So if we hit refresh and we open up our console, couple ways to do that, Command Option J or Control Shift J on the PC, or you can right click, click inspect, and then you'll get to the elements, and then you could go to the console. This is going to display an object. Right now, this object has nothing in it. To add values to this component, we'll need to add them wherever the component is being rendered. So right here on line 41 is where we would do that. We could say name equals, and then you can put your own name in here. Let's say your name is Cindy. Now, if we refresh, we should see an object with that name. Now, to access these values, we would just go ahead and grab them from the props object. So here we could use another one of these JSX expressions, and we'd say props.names kitchen, and there we go. Cindy's kitchen is now being added. So let's go ahead and add a dynamic property to our main component. So the main component also has access to our props object. Right now, we are displaying delicious food, but we can say props.adjective food. And now in the main component, we'll say adjective equals amazing. Now this should inject that right into that component. Let's also add a period there. All right, cool. Let's add one more property, and we're going to add that one more property to our new component, which we'll call footer. And the footer component is going to return a footer, so a footer tag. And within that footer tag, we want to use another type here. So we'll say p copyright props.year. Now what we can do, if we scroll down a little bit further, is we can render our footer inside of our app component. And so far, we've just used strings. So far, we've used strings as properties. Let's say we wanted to use a number. We would need to wrap this in a set of curly braces. So let's go ahead and refresh that, and we'll see that added here. You also could make this a little more dynamic by adding a function. You could use something like new date dot get full year. And this will just add whatever the current year is. Pretty cool. So we want to think about the props object as being this little container where you can place information in for any component. When we render the component, we'll pass the properties into the component. And then within that component, we'll reference them in the props object with dot notation.